Well, I didn't really have to act. Basically, I was doing an impression of a dude I went to high school with, and I'm from Southern California, you know, and grew to be a teenager at the height of Val speak. So, like, that Frank Zappa song, Valley Girl, that's 10th grade for me. I knew all of those people. So Michelangelo was really just like putting on kind of a familiar jacket. and then, you know, I went home and I was still saying, dude.
First, we are going to bring out April O'Neil, Paige Turco. Second, we are going to bring out Ernie Reyes Jr., who was Donatello and Keno. Next, we are going to bring out Brian Tochi, who is Leonardo.
Where am I sitting? Right here?
Yeah. And Kenn Scott, who is Raphael.
That's right.
Kevin Clash, who is Splinter.
Kevin, that's you. You got an interesting chair.
James Saito.
Oh, James is right here.
Splinter. Yes, James Saito, Shredder. Francois Chau, Shredder. We need Michelangelo, so we need Robbie Rist out here. And last but not least, April O'Neil again, the beautiful Judith Hoag.
Let's mix that sound.
For your 1990-1991 TMNT movie cast. Make some noise.
Fantastic. Truly an epic reunion here today. Truly an epic reunion. So, I mean, I got to get this thing started. That doesn't have a wire. It's a wire. So, we are approaching this film franchise, this original film franchise of the Ninja Turtle movies, the first three, is nearing its 30th anniversary for the first flick, and then the other two that followed it.
35th.
35th. So,
35th.
I need to ask each of you guys here on the panel, if you guys want to quickly just talk about that these films, they kind of like took the nation by storm. When did you guys realize you got into something bigger than what it maybe initially was planned at?
Who wants to head up?
Well, you know, it's interesting. I'll just... Can you hear me? Hello. Okay. Hi, everybody. Hi, Brian. You know what was kind of interesting is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movies, it was the franchise. It was a project that was turned down by every single major studio. They went to Universal, they went to 20th Century Fox, they went to Warner Brothers, they went to Disney, they went to all the studios, and they said, nah, we're not interested. So there's a small little company called New Line Cinema, and all they were known for was the Nightmare on Elm Street Freddy movies. And they said, we'll take a chance with this little, it's a comic book. And they had just started a year prior this cartoon about these Ninja Turtles. They said, well, we'll take it on. Well, they took it on. They filmed the movie, and everybody's going to talk about. But lo and behold, on the first weekend, it was the largest grossing independent film weekend in the history of movies. Whoa! Teenage Mutant Ninja Power! And by the end of the run, it was the highest grossing, most popular independent film in the history of independent film. So, I didn't know it was going to be a big old thing. I don't know about you guys, but I just thought I'd share that to start.
Well, actually, we were, Jim Henson and all of us were at, is this working? Can you guys hear me? We were actually doing Muppets Go to Disney World. And we were shooting that at the time. And I was standing by Jim, and he got a little card saying that the movie was going to be the #1 movie that weekend. And he was very excited. He took us individually out to talk about the future of what we were going to be doing with him. And we stopped at a red light, and there was a line of kids and parents outside of the movie theater. And we saw it firsthand. The usher had to go down the line and tell the parents that there was no more seats. And so the kids were losing their mind at that point. So we saw it firsthand as far as how enormous and amazing the movie was doing that weekend. So that's where we were at when it all happened.
Oh gosh,
Judith?
I think for me, it was just when I was first handed the script, my agent said, don't pay attention to the title. It's actually a really sweet script. And till the day he died, he called it Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And I sort of got a preview that we might be on to something good even before I started the film, and I've told this story a million times, so I'll tell the sort of the abbreviated version, was I was shooting a movie with Robin Williams in New York called Cadillac Man, and I had to keep flying like Fridays. I'd rush out of there, I'd hop on a plane, I'd go to North Carolina, do a little pre-production, a little bit of shooting, come back to New York, and Robin one day just went, where are you going? Like, we want to be in this movie. And he was the sweetest, kindest man. And I said, well, actually, I'm doing another film. And he was like, well, what are you doing? And I thought, oh, God, I got to say it out loud. Because I didn't know Ninja Turtles at all. I didn't know there was a cartoon. I didn't know there were comic books. And I said, I'm doing a movie. It's called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And he said, what? And I said, it's very sweet. It's called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And he just stopped and went, they're making a movie of that? And I said, yeah. And he had the very first comic book. And he said, are you playing April? And I was like, yeah. And he then, from that day forward, would work extra hard to get me out on Friday so I could get on a plane and go to North Carolina. And then when the film premiered at Universal, he flew down from San Francisco with his entire family and was a huge champion. And if you ever are sitting in a panel with Kevin Eastman, ask him his Robin Williams stories, because he was a huge, huge fan. But it was... I mean, we just thought we were making this silly movie that, who knew? And it exploded very quickly. And the fact that you're all here is just an incredible honor. And I can only speak for myself, but.
I'll just make it fast. It's the same. Oh, not true. Minus the Robin Williams.
Okay, that is the shortest answer you'll ever get out of Robbie Rist.
Well, there's 9 of us.
That's a Robbie record.
My story of when I first saw the movie, I didn't know that it was going to be this big, and I just had heard a lot. I was in LA, and so I thought, well, I'll go to the theater and see it. And I remember there were the lines, and I was sitting in the movie theater, and I guess when I realized that it was bigger than I thought was, we're sitting in the theater, and then when the shredder comes walking out, and there's that long shot and the cape and the whole thing, there was like a little kid who was maybe about 6, 7, and he was in the row down from me, and he just stood up and he said, Shredder. And he was standing there, and I thought, wow, I guess people know about this thing. So that's my story.
All answering this question.
Yeah. I had no idea. Is this on?
It's on.
Okay. Am I screaming? I had no idea I was a ballet dancer and total klutz. And my funniest story, actually, is I'm talking, and Jim Henson's The Puppeteers, brilliant. But I was such a klutz. This is a silly story. Our marks as actors, I kept tripping over them. And then I thought, I am talking to green turtles. And there are actors in there. My first acting job, really. And I'm thinking, oh my God, are they thinking I'm nuts? You know? And then they would have to close the little eye holes. I'm like, okay, they can't see me, right? They don't see that I'm talking to 4 green turtles. But I had no idea because I did not see the first movie. I had no idea what I was in for. It was a lot of fun, but really silly because I'm a bit of a goofball. And then they wanted to teach me nunchucks. I'm like, oh my God, I'm a ballet dancer, really? Okay, you can look goofy. Oh, good, we're all good. And Splinter was the most fun. Because I'm talking to a rat on a subway with your beautiful smile. I'm like this. Okay, there's something wrong about this. I don't know what planet I've landed on, but it was a lot of fun. But the second movie was so much lighter because I'm a goofball. The first one was quite dark, right, Judith? Yes. It was a bit dark. So then in walks Goofball. Had no idea what I was walking into. But it was fun, and it was cute. And then this one...
Not me. I didn't do it.
Oh my God, we had so much fun, didn't we?
We sure did.
You so made fun of me in a beautiful way. He had to watch me do the nunchucks. And he's super talented, martial artist. And I'm going, oh yeah, okay. But I didn't know about the movie. And I don't think any of us knew how iconic it was going to be. Yeah. I really don't. And I don't even know when that happened. Because I was too busy sitting in King Kong's hand in North Carolina. Sorry. I did, actually. One more cute story, and then I'm done. So, there was an April O'Neil doll from the third movie. So, my kid's father gives it to my son. He goes to kindergarten. I get a phone call. Oh, something's wrong. Because your kid held up this action figure and said, this is my mom. I'm like, what? And it was like a big joke, but they didn't even know me from the movie. So my poor child, all these kids in his kindergarten class are going, there's something wrong with him. These are just cute stories. But I don't believe in my heart that any of us knew, did we? That it was going to be this iconic. And the brilliance of each turtle is how that was created. That's what, I don't know. That's what made it iconic. You know, you teach children artistry through each of their names of the turtles. Oddly brilliant, right? But I don't think we knew. I especially didn't. I had no idea. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Well, everything I do is iconic, so I knew for sure. I was like, this shit's gonna be a hit.
Yeah, right.
I love you. Yeah.
Are we gonna take some? Are you guys?
Yeah.
We got more
We're
stories.
good. Yeah, let's keep it rolling.
Ken, I don't think we heard from Ken.
That's all the same. We can move on to another question.
All right.
None of us knew it was going to be as big as it was.
Should we take some audience questions? What do you guys think? Yeah? You guys got some questions? All right.
Who's first? You go. I'll go. All right. Who's first? Who wants to go first? Don't be scared. Go, yeah, come on.
There you go.
Somebody's
Kelson.
Kelson. King Kelson.
Yeah.
Hey, so my question is, if you guys could rewrite how the colors coded for the turtles, what colors would you want your turtle to be instead?
Oh, instead?
Repeat the question, please.
Magenta.
If you could change the color of your turtle, what color would you want your turtle to be instead?
Oh, black like my soul.
Yeah.
He's back.
Sorry. That was really funny.
Oh, Robbie.
Hey, he wanted an answer.
Pink glitter.
I like Leonardo blue. I love blue.
Maybe a different shade of blue?
Maybe a different shade of blue. Maybe a little sparkle in it. You know. There you go. There you go. I was going to say black too, but not. I don't have a black soul, so I'm not going to go.
I do.
There. I'm going to say that I would definitely keep Raphael's red because originally all the turtles were red, but Raphael was the only one that stayed true to the whole origin and everything. So I'm going to stick with red. Stay there. I mean, you guys know initially, maybe some of you don't, that when the turtles were drawn in the comic books, they had all red bandanas. And basically the way to determine who was who was by their weaponry. Yep. So, and then for the movies, I thought that was kind of a brilliant way to define them immediately is by changing to the orange and red and purple and blue. I thought it was kind of a brilliant thing.
Yeah. That's one of my favorite stories, by the way. We were in the apartment, it's in the second movie, and the swords, oh my goodness, he got stuck in the window. It was so cute, though. I mean, it wasn't cute for him, but it was so cute. It was like he actually looked like a turtle who was in distress.
Oh, from the swords on his back. Yeah.
It was the two swords.
Yeah.
Was that Donatello?
It was Leonardo.
Leonardo.
Yeah.
Oh, the poor baby.
Yeah.
And I was so new at acting. It was like, how do I help you through the window?
Yeah.
It was really cute.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But now today, you would be acting to a tennis ball. You wouldn't be acting to a real thing in the room with you.
Judith, didn't you have paper plates or something that you had to act to?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or pieces of tape is the best on the camera box.
Right.
It's like, how do I not look cross-eyed?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, the technology for the first movie and the second one. The second one was a little easier because we got all the kinks out on the first one as far as the technology with the radio control of the characters and stuff. But they were crashing, and you know that the turtles, all four of them, always work together. So if one went down as far as the radio control, all of them you couldn't shoot. So they always say, well, let's shoot the red. Let's shoot the red.
Yep.
Because he was hardwired, so he was easy to perform. But I feel sad for Paige because I remember the second one, all the guys in the suits and everything, they were just they teased her so much. And so, of course, I was doing Splinter, so I would have to, I became this 75-year-old man, telling them to stop teasing Paige when we were shooting. So it really came out that we all turned into these characters, and it was a lot of fun. But the first one was very challenging. It was, as far as going through the technology. And because it worked, so it finally worked, that's how we got to do dinosaurs for ABC, because that was the same, technology that they did with that.
Oh, Kevin?
Call me a dinosaur?
No, not you.
Kevin?
Yeah.
So on The Abyss, they had T-shirts because it was such a hard shoot. They had T-shirts that said things like "Life is abyss" and then you dive. Okay. I think for the turtle movies, we should make up "Shoot the Rat" T-shirts.
Yes, that's what we should do. I think that would be great.
Yeah, TMNT, "Shoot the Rat."
Totally.
Another question?
Next question over here.
Hi, my name's Kitty Monk, and my question is, do you guys ever have dreams where you're the characters you play in, media?
I didn't hear the question.
One more time.
Did you ever dream that you were one of your characters in your dream?
Have you ever dreamt that you play are you dreaming that you're the character in real life?
Oh, yeah. I wanted to be a turtle. So, I'm teasing.
I never wanted to be a 4-foot rat. No. I never thought about that. That was not in my at all.
Some people were born in the year of the rat.
That's right.
Right? There you go.
Hi guys, my name is Chad, also known as the Cupcake Guy.
Would go out.
My question for the panel is, who got the most into their character? Who lost themselves as playing the character or their role?
Me.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't really have to act. Basically, I was doing an impression of a dude I went to high school with, and I'm from Southern California, and grew to be a teenager at the height of Val speak. So that Frank Zappa song, Valley Girl, that's 10th grade for me. I knew all of those people. So Michelangelo was really just putting on kind of a familiar jacket. and then, I went home and I was still saying dude.
I think from an acting point of view, I can't speak for Judith, but she certainly immersed herself in the role and delivered amazingly as April doing her thing. But when I see Elias Koteas playing Casey Jones, just knowing him and working with him like we did on the set, he came to set so prepared and in such phenomenal shape, and he had such a strong he had such a strong desire to perform at a high level in the action sequences that he was working with Pat Johnson and the stunt team and Ernie and everybody to try to get there. And I don't know Elias that well, and I know some people here know him better than I do, but he was almost like a kind of a Daniel Day-Lewis kind of approach in doing what he was doing. And so for me, my vote is that guy. He really immersed himself into what he was doing when he was creating that character.
Excellent. Thank you.
If you guys eat any pizza that the Ninja Turtle eats, what would it be? What would you eat in real life in terms of any Ninja Turtle pizza that they eat? Francois.
You're the first people.
All right, let's go ahead, Francois. Yeah, because
the first people.
I guess I have to talk a little bit. Pizza. Okay, this might be kind of sacrilegious, but I'd have to go with Hawaiian.
Yeah.
We are all on board.
Yes.
Well, as far as, Brian Henson asked me he asked me about did I want to do Splinter because I was already doing Elmo, and he said, let's give you something to sink your teeth into that's a little bit older. And so he gave me that. And what I came up with is I took James Olmos from Miami Vice, and then I pulled from Pat Morita from Karate Kid, and I put those two together to make the character of Splinter for me. And it was amazing to work, because normally I do for younger this was more family oriented and everything. So I had to think more of an actor, and working with the actors was amazing because they really got me to figure out who Splinter was, because he was a 75-year-old man. Yeah, we saw him as a rat, but he acquired these teenagers, and he never thought he would have to do that. And so it came into play that I had to really hone into how that whole dynamic of those teenagers and how he would relate to them. And so those two actors really helped me with it.
I don't know that I ever told you this, but for me, it was incredibly easy to make pretend that the turtles were real because the actors in the suits were amazing. And I remember the first time that I worked with you, and you were, you were just next level embodiment of the character, and then you had somebody who did your feet.
Yeah, I had somebody.
Did you do them all? It felt like there was a couple people like when you would walk.
About 3 or 4, yeah.
Right, but I remember one time it was in between shots, and it was always a joy when you actually had the actual turtle there or Splinter there. And it's sometimes filmmaking can be very long and boring because there's a lot of waiting. And we had a conversation, and you stayed in character the whole time. And you answered all my questions, and it helped me so much because it was just so easy to fall in. And to make it real and to have it feel real. And it was, your Splinter is just on my heart forever.
Mm-hmm. But we had a good time. We had a good time creating those characters.
Yeah, it was
I think they're on our side. Yeah. Okay, so I am a huge Ninja Turtles fan. The first movie, I actually memorized it, from beginning to end, and I actually admire all the work that you guys have done. Yeah, I know I had multiple questions, but I'm going to stick to a couple, if it's possible. One of them is when you actually heard of Jim Henson's passing. I just wanted to know exactly how you guys felt and everything, and how much more did you actually want to put into your work. That's one. And two, I noticed that Kenn was mentioned about Cortez. I believe is who played his Casey Jones. He was absolutely amazing. And then I believe he skipped the second one, but he was actually in the third one. He played as Casey Jones, but he also played as I believe he was like one of the guys who got captured. I believe I don't know what his name. I don't recall his name. But and how he actually acted in that, he actually completely changed character, and I was like, whoa, he's really ranged. So I just wanted to know how you guys felt about these two questions. I just wanted to you can figure out which one you want to answer first.
Kevin.
I think the world mourned, the whole world mourned when they found out that Jim Henson passed on. So I think that it was just a universal kind of feeling of loss for so much that he brought to his characters and to, every corner of the world, his amazing, just the people, that we grew up with and have continued to still, grow up with. I think it was just a universal thing on that one.
I was actually working. We Jim and I did the Arsenio Hall show 2 weeks prior, and we would. I was performing Clifford, and he was like, "You did so much better than me." I said, "I could never do better than Kermit," but we played around, and after that, he went to. They shot a commercial for the Muppets at Disney World and everything. They shot a commercial, and then after that, it was, so of course it was a shock, because like I said, I had worked with him 2 weeks prior, and I mean, of course we still miss him.
Yeah.
Very much.
Go.
I think Jim Henson brought into the world something that I still use regularly on a daily basis, which was the ability to be sarcastic and innocent at the same time. Like a lot of that Muppet movie and Muppet Show comedy, there's a tremendous amount of satire and really caustic humor, except it's delivered in such an innocent way that it's no wonder that when he passed, both adults and kids were bummed about it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. It was just a little amusing. Didn't have to be anything. As you were, that's all.
I think that Jim was already obviously an icon when he passed. It was so tragic that he was so young, that he still had so much good work left in him. His funeral was, all of the Muppets came out. Everybody came out with their characters. You walked into St. Patrick's Cathedral and there was Kermit under a glass cloche and pictures everywhere, and seeing his children up on the altar talking to their, about their dad, and they read a letter that he had written to them in the event of his death. That was incredibly moving, and his legacy is just so sprawling and so indelibly tied to this film and these characters and all of us. It was a real loss. It was a real loss.
Yeah, he came to visit the studio.
Yeah, that was
the first one.
Amazing.
And we got to hang out with him at Wrightsville Beach. I don't know, Marty Robinson actually puppeteered one of the faces and everything. So we got to hang out, which was really fun. So he was there for the first one. He hung out with all of us and stuff.
He was in my eye line the very first day. I was shooting the scene in the Turtle Den when I wake up, and you're in my face, and they're all there. And so when you're shooting a film, they pretty much try to keep your eye line where you'll be looking towards the camera free of people, because it's very distracting. And this gentleman walks into the frame, and it's Jim Henson. And I start having a screaming conversation in my head while I'm playing a scene. And it was, oh my God, that's Jim Henson. Stop. Come on, you got to shoot this thing. Oh my God, he's standing right, he's in my eye line. Oh God, it's Jim Henson. And, and it's like, stop. You're like, this was my first starring role in a movie. It meant the world to me. Like, focus. And it was a thrilling moment to finally wrap that scene up and then go over like just the biggest Uber fan and get a chance to meet him. And it's always thrilling when you meet somebody that you so admire who actually knows who you are. And that was pretty thrilling.
I think when it comes to the Ninja Turtles, everybody loves the Ninja Turtles. It's bigger than everybody thought the movies were going to be. The franchise is bigger than the creators ever thought it was going to be. And different things help propel it, like turbo boosts along its journey. And probably the biggest turbo boost it got was I think the first film took the cartoon to a whole other level in the franchise, because it was no longer a cartoon. It brought it out of the world of the mind and the pad, and it brought it into a real visceral world you could touch. And I think what a lot of people outside of this room don't know is when people find out that Jim Henson had something to do with the turtle suits and the Turtles creation, they're just like, oh, I didn't know that. And I think it's not the Ninja Turtles alone that propelled itself to be what it could be on the back of that first movie. When you have Jim Henson and what comes from his mind and the people that work with him and contribute, that's a whole other level of magic powder that gets put into the cauldron of what's being made. And anybody can put a puppet on their hand and talk, but a puppet is not a Muppet. And you can tell the difference when you watch a TV show, when you're seeing a Jim Henson derivative product of some kind or somebody else that's doing something. And when you took that magic and mixed that together with the mythology of the Ninja Turtles, it took that whole thing together to make Ninja Turtles what it was. Otherwise, nobody would feel the way they feel about these turtles. They're real. They were alive. We were right there in your houses. We were actual creatures that you could touch and people got to talk to and play with. And I think Jim Henson does get a lot of credit, but he doesn't get all the credit from the rest of the world of what he contributed to making this whole thing what it is.
Not to mention the puppeteers.
Yeah, that whole world.
On.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean.
Hi. When you first heard about the movie doing really good in the box office, did you go out to celebrate or have any type of celebration for it?
Wow.
I think we were all flung to
Yeah, I don't think, did we? I don't remember doing any big celebration.
I don't think we did. I mean, I think it was really, wrap parties and premieres and stuff like that. I think, the crazy thing about filmmaking is you come together and it's like summer camp. And you're all just in it and you're exhausted and you're playing and it's so much fun. And then when it's done, you all go sort of are cast back into the winds and everybody goes back. We had people from London, we had people from New York, we had people from Los Angeles, we had people from North Carolina. And you don't get a chance to see each other. And that's why doing these is really fun because we do, or when you're working on a set and, a familiar face comes in and it's a very actually small business. So you do run into each other, fairly often, or at least now and again. And, I don't think there was. I think we all just kind of, pumped a fist in the air.
I think the celebration actually happened more with there was a huge screening of the second one.
The second one at Universal Studios.
Huge.
Yeah.
And Michael London, all these major movie stars were there. And so that was really cool to sit there and because we got to sit in the audience with the kids and everything, and it was amazing. That was so cool. And to see these different celebrities, with their kids and stuff like that. I think that was the party for us. It was coming off of the first one that was so huge. And then the second one was like, Hollywood, big thing, so that was fun to be around that.
Yeah, if you guys don't know, the first movie they didn't know how big it was going to be, so they just had cast and crew screenings where the cast and crew got to go, I think, in New York and in LA. But because that was so successful, when the second one came out, as Kevin was talking about, they pulled out all the stops and threw a huge premiere at Universal Studios in Hollywood. And they had exhibits and performers, and they had like a valet line of cars, Ted Danson and Billy Crystal and Robin Williams, just on and on. All these celebrities pulling up and getting out of cars and walking into Universal Studios. That's when I first met Brian for the first time, and man,
what was nice is they were just they were parents. They weren't coming as celebrities. They were parents because they were bringing their kids who, like even, you was talking about, Judith, how Robin already knew about them because of his kids and stuff. So they were coming as parents. And so it was nice to see them, excited about their kids seeing this, because it was huge at that point.
That was a big party.
It was a big party. It was huge.
Hi, thanks for coming out today. I'm Phil, and my daughter Penelope has a question, but she's a little shy to ask it, so she asked me to. If your Ninja Turtle could live anywhere, where would you want your Ninja Turtle to live?
On the beach in Thailand.
Hi, my name is Michael. I've seen that movie so many times. You guys did a really good job. So I'm just curious, when you were in costume, was it hard to move around? Because that's what I found the most amazing, how you made those costume characters look so real, including Splinter.
In the costume.
That's for you.
The costume performance.
Yeah. Yeah, it was crazy. They're made kind of out of like latex rubber. It's kind of like a, Nerf football. Well, first of all, we were in North Carolina. It was like 100 and something degrees. And then like the humidity was crazy. And then we were pretty much like split up into kind of 2 units. So a lot of the action was being done on the second unit. And so we were doing fight scenes. It was like, a normal work day on a movie is like around 12 hours. I remember some days it was like 12, 14, 16 hour days. And you're doing fight scenes all day long. Like that's your job. And, but it's like, imagine taking like a Nerf football and like dunking it in water and it just all holds the water. So it's like we'd sweat in it all day. And then by the end of the thing, it was like the costumes were like almost doubly as heavy just from the sweat, but it was crazy. But it was also just, for me anyways, I knew that it was something special because I grew up like on Bruce Lee movies and Jackie Chan and Jet Li and all that. And so, being part of Golden Harvest for me was like, whoa, these people make martial arts movies, and that's what I was there for. So it was a lot of fun, even though it was a crazy amount of work. And I see these pictures. I've seen the one that
but Ernie, you got to do double duty. You got to be inside the turtle and you got to act as yourself, which was a lot of cool. And us walking, they had these amazing martial arts people who actually flew over from Hong Kong, some of them. Right. And we would stand and the guy who was, what's his name?
Pat Johnson,
who was amazing. And he would show us all, we'd show Steve, the director, and we'd watch this and we were blown away by the whole choreography of the fighting that I had no idea and it was beyond incredible. And matter of fact, one of the guys from Hong Kong, I don't think he really understood about the head of the turtle, what he was going to be fighting in. And at one point they did the whole scene and one of them, this guy just ripped off the head because he got claustrophobic. He ripped it off. They flew him right back to Hong Kong. He was out of it. He couldn't do it. It was amazing. You see this major thing happen and all of a sudden it's like... But I've never seen anything like that close up. I mean, the talent and the choreography of that it blew me away. The flips and everything, it was amazing with the nunchucks and everything.
Yeah, I was so talented with the nunchucks.
When it came to the fight scenes, talking about how difficult it was, you couldn't see out of the turtle head. You just had these tiny little pinholes that you could see out of. So trying to do the fight choreography, usually, like if I was fighting Ernie or Brian or whoever, I can look at them and I can see what's coming, and we can kind of dance together. Well, because you couldn't see, we had to train and drill these fight scenes over and over and over again so that it kind of became second nature. You just knew where to turn and what to do. But it was a lot of sound cues. We'd be yelling at each other. Like if I was going to punch Ernie or something like that, I'd have to be like, hey! And he knew to look, and we kind of timed like 1, 2, 3, all this. You kind of heard this, it's like a military cadence thing going on a lot. And that was everybody giving each other cues on what we were doing. So we had to find other ways to overcome the limitations we had in order to put the fight scenes and stuff like that together, despite the weight, the heat, not being able to see, and not being able to breathe either. That was the challenge.
So a quick question for Ernie and or Ken. So I've wondered about this for a long time. When there is a martial arts fight, why do people still attack one at a time? You would think their odds would be better because there's like 15 of them against the one dude usually, right? But they still attack one at a time. Can someone explain this to me?
It's the movies.
Hey,
it's not real. We're acting.
Well, now it's ruined.
So listen. This has been quite amazing. Awesome. I mean, we have been honored to have such a large reunion of this and discuss really, I think we touched upon the real magic of what these movies meant to everybody, what these characters, what all of your work has done. So I think that's fantastic. But before we go, we got to take care of one more thing that TMNT's collector's going to handle.
Okay, hold on. I gotta come up here for this. Are you guys ready? Oh. Make some noise for the Ninja Turtle cast. But what I need all you guys to do is to help us sing happy birthday to Judith Hoag, because she is here on her birthday with us today. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Judith. Happy birthday to you.
What are we going to do tonight, Brain?
Same thing we do every night, Pinky. Watch Fandom Spotlite videos and then take over the world.
Hey, God, that's great. And maybe we should tell them all to have fun?
And follow their fandom. Then bow before my genius.